Hey guys, welcome back to Cinema Suitcase. I am Kevin, this is my co-host Logan, and today we're doing an Extra Suitcase episode on one of my anti-hero villain films, well, one of my favorites at least, Brightburn. And I think this is the first time I'm actually hosting an Extra Suitcase.
Yeah.
What was our other two?
Congrats.
Backcountry
There was Backcountry, The Descent, Part 2.
And yeah, okay, so it's actually our fourth. Wow, I thought it was our third. Anyway, I'm excited to host it. It's almost no different, but to me, it's an achievement.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, should we do some introduction first, or some statistics?
Yeah, let's just do some
statistics.
Let me just get the stats out of the way.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Makes sense to just get them cleared.
So this movie was directed by David Yarovesky.
Yeah, I saw a Yiski yesterday, and I was like, oof, wow, that's going to be a hard name.
Yeah, this movie was written by Brian and Mark Gunn, which are both, James Gunn's relatives, like his cousins, or I'm not exactly sure the relation, but they're James Gunn's family, and James Gunn produced this film.
Nice.
Original music by Tim Williams. Cinematography by Michael Delatorre. And
I know that name.
And then film editing by Andrew S. Eisen and Peter Govardus.
You know, look there. Your Vodzaz. Yes, GVODS or something like that. Jeez.
Yeah, no, these.
I apologize. We definitely butchered that name. I'm not sure at all how to pronounce that one. Oops, there goes your phone. So, backstory, introduction to this film. I remember where we were the first time I heard about it. And that was my hype for The Boys, season 1. It was our second year together.
Yeah, it was our second year at college together.
Second year at college. And we were on like a lunch break outside in the sun. And you were like, everyone's talking about The Boys, but there's this movie coming out called Brightburn, and it's like an evil Superman. I'll never forget how you phrased it. Oh, my bad. I'll do this. And I was like, that actually sounds cool. The thought of there's a whole bunch of superhero genres where the so-called heroes are actually bad guys. That was interesting. And I actually, as soon as it was available for watching, I watched it, and I loved it. Yeah. I thought it was a very gritty, very uncomfortable film.
It is very gritty and uncomfortable. Definitely.
How about your origin? I don't imagine, since it's quite a new movie, it's a very complex origin story.
Yeah, it's not very complex. I heard about this movie obviously before Kevin, and I was like super hyped for it because I was like, oh, cool, evil Superman. It's like a horror movie. It's like a superhero horror movie. That sounds awesome. Then I mentioned it to you. And obviously this came out around about the same time that The Boys came out.
Yeah, right around 2019-ish, late 2019.
And obviously Homelander is also evil Superman, so there was a lot of hype around it. And I watched it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fun. A lot of people don't like this movie, and they say that, this movie had so much potential that they wasted it. And I'm like, what do you mean they wasted it?
What do you mean they wasted it? It's a gradual progression for him as a character.
It's a gradual progression, and also I will say that his flick to the dark side is very quick. It should have been a bit more gradual, but for the most part, they did everything that they could. And again, they only had $7 million budget,
which is impressive.
So for what they were able to do with that limited amount of money, it was a lot that they did.
Exactly. So I wouldn't criticize them too harshly. What did they say? What potential did they miss out on?
I don't know. That's just what people never actually clarify what they mean. They just say it's so much potential. Never did anything with it. Oh gosh, I hate this movie.
I thought that it laid the groundwork nicely for a sequel.
I mean, it did lay the groundwork. Dude, it's people on Twitter. People on Twitter are always like that.
Oh yeah, Twitter's a cesspool, dude. I don't use Twitter. I hate it. I don't use anything.
Yeah, but they set up a sequel pretty well. And
I look forward to it.
I enjoy it. Well, hopefully it will get made.
Yeah, hopefully. I keep hearing rumors of it here and there, but nothing definitive. So I'm cautiously optimistic until until
I
there's
don't
any
know.
sort of definitive release date, announced.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that they keep asking James Gunn about it, and James Gunn keeps saying, "Well, I'm busy. I can't really produce it or anything." And people keep saying that James Gunn should direct a Superman movie. I don't really think so. I don't think he should direct a Superman movie. Number one, he didn't direct it or write this movie. And number two, like James Gunn, James Gunn I love James Gunn. He's a great director, and I think he should continue to do comic book films. But I don't think he's right for Superman. He's more right for like those misfit type of characters,
ragtag characters,
misfit characters, anti-heroes like the Suicide Squad or like the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's more suited for, or like his original Superman movie that he did when he first started his career, Super, which I'm actually a big fan of that film. But yeah, he's more suited for those characters, right? For Superman, no.
No, I agree. His creative choice is more suited to those flawed characters than someone like Superman.
I mean, if he wanted to direct Brightburn to himself, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, cool. But direct a normal, just a regular Superman movie, like, no.
Don't see it.
Yeah, he's not really my choice to be a director. But everyone keeps going on about how he should direct it, and I'm like, no.
Fair enough. In terms of the plot, I quite like, as I say this, they pace this nicely for a gradual transition, because Brightburn, or Brandon, he's pretty much figuring himself out, and his weird fascination with like torture and gore. Yeah, it's very interesting how he does it. I love that actor, but I hate him in this movie because he just freaks me out. Like, he has this blank face. And
he's kind of meant to. He's kind of just...
Yeah, that's the thing. He does it so well that it's off-putting. That's why I'm saying, like, every time I watch it, I'm like...
He's kind of like Paul Cerrone from Anaconda, yeah.
No, except he doesn't actually talk up a good game. He just wrecks.
He just wrecks stuff.
Anyway, about the story, we start off with a young couple. They're not that young, but they're also not like old.
Yeah.
And they're hoping to have a child. They've had terrible luck with that so far, apparently, because we see a whole bunch of like books on how to
parenting
do the deed, and get set up with the child. So they're obviously really hopeful, and they just haven't had much luck until eventually a sort of spaceship pod thing lands near or on their farm, somewhere on their farm, and they go and check it out, and there's this young boy inside. Pretty normal looking dude. He doesn't have like 3 eyes or something.
Yeah, basically like the typical Superman origin.
Pretty much. And they take him in pretty quickly. They thought, okay, wow, this is like the miracle baby. He's been gifted to us. We're gonna raise him right, and they do actually. He's actually quite a cool, normal, well-mannered dude.
He's a normal,
for the most part,
well-mannered kid, and then I don't know. I guess also that's kind of the thing, is that like it should have been like a gradual, like there was something off with this kid. But the problem is basically just one night when he turns 12 or whatever, the ship calls him. He goes obviously to try and open the barn, but he can't. And then his mother finds him, and then she brings him back inside, and then basically it's just like that. Now he's evil.
Yeah, I don't think he knows he's evil. That's the thing, because of everything he gradually...
Yeah.
He sort of pushes the envelope in terms of what he's allowed to do and what he isn't, and he's trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
So I don't think he really is like that, evil. I think
it's more... Well, remember, the thing is that he keeps... That ship keeps calling to him, and it keeps making him say all that like alien language and everything like that. So it's kind of like sort of like there's clearly these voices in his head. He's clearly been programmed or whatever to just take over the world or whatever. And the program is kicking in, and I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like how I would have liked it if he got his superpowers, and then maybe he tries to be a hero, but like people like shun him or whatever. Then that's kind of what makes him just go like completely evil or whatever.
Sort of like Hancock vibes,
where
he tries to be good, but through his methods, they end up despising him anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe instead of becoming an alcoholic, he just becomes evil. That would be an interesting approach. I see what you mean about his transition might be a little bit quick, but I don't think it's as simple as that, Because he starts with like the chickens, and that's how most serial killers start anything, is with animals.
So he just kills them.
And then he's also like the hand with that girl in his class. stuff
Yeah.
like that. It doesn't outright start with killing anybody. It's just a gradual thing.
Yeah.
And also that like weird pictures he has under his bed.
Yeah.
I mean, the first few are like, typical 12-year-old, 13-year-old, material.
But then it starts to get weird stuff. And just like, and then like the mom's like, is this a goth thing? And then the dad's like, no, that's only a goth thing I know.
Anyway, so after he's found by his adoptive parents, we get a bit of a montage of him as a very young baby, like growing up and having a nice typical family life. And I think I said to you last night, I think that's real footage of that actor as a youngster.
It might be.
It's probably just voiced over.
Yeah.
Because like that baby looks just like him.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll have to research afterwards, but I'm sure it's real. Anyway, it cuts. We have a time jump until I think it says 11 years later.
Yeah, it's 10 years later.
10 years, okay. Yeah, they really don't. They're not sure what his age is really.
Like at first
he's between 11 and 13.
11, then he's 12, then he's 13.
Then he's 12 and a half again, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Or whatever. And I just kind of assumed he was 13, but yeah, I don't know.
So did I, because that's generally the age that's
Rebellious age.
stereotypically when you start developing. So I thought it would be 13, but apparently he's like very young, he's like 11 and a half or some shit. Anyway, he learns he has abilities when he's working on the farm with his dad.
And then he's trying to get the lawnmower to stop, but it won't. And then he ends up throwing it across the field. And when he goes there, like the blade's busy running, then he just puts his hand in.
I hate that.
Blade.
Anyway, his parents, pretty much his parents and him, they have a functional relationship at this point. He's a good kid. He does well in school. Nothing wrong there. But once he throws that lawnmower and he realizes, okay, he's a bit different from other people. So he starts to kind of push the boundaries. And that's when he snaps and the ship becomes sentient or whatever. And I don't know, that whole lawnmower scene, I told you about it last night. If you throw a lawnmower that far, you're like, okay, cool, whatever.
I've got super strength.
Yeah, but your first instinct should not just be to put your fucking hand in the blade.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that scene so much, just because he assumed. I mean, what would happen in some alternate scene where his hand was just chopped off, and then we'd be like, okay.
His hand chopped off, he's like, okay, I guess that's it.
Like, yeah, I guess I was a superhero for like a minute, and then I ruined my potential. Anyway, he has I don't know, I once had a theory because he ends up in school, and it's a whole session about bees and wasps. It's obviously some sort of history class, or natural science class, or something like that.
Natural science or biology or something.
Something like that. And there's the whole bees and wasps predatory
thing where he says like, bees are just more, they work together, whereas with wasps are more aggressive, and wasps will capture bees to raise their young or something like that.
So I think that pretty much describes his species as the wasps, and Earth humans as the bees.
Basically,
I think they kind of subtly hint at that. Anyway, he ends up giving the teacher a lot of good facts to prove he was paying attention, and he impresses this girl that's in his class that seems to like him, and he kind of likes her, and he develops this unhealthy obsession with her.
Yeah,
very, very unusual, and I'm glad they did, because it's more off-putting. Yeah, as a kid,
Yeah, it's more off-putting. Although I would like to say, they cut to the girl in her bedroom a lot of the time, and she's got a laptop at 8 years old.
Dude, I told you that upset me.
Annoyed both you and me.
Yes, it's like 11 or 12 or whatever, and she has a laptop.
Like a full laptop.
And then she's there late at night, and she's like, email. I'm like, who are you emailing? You're My Little Penguin. Oh, My Little Penguin. My Little Pony Club.
Exactly.
Oh, it upset me, dude.
But the thing is that one thing where like the laptop keeps coming up and playing some music, and then like she puts it down, and then when she goes back to bed, like it comes back up and plays again. Mm-hmm. But then she like immediately calls up like oh Brian Byers did this, and I'm like, how?
Brandon.
Brandon, sorry, Brandon Byers did this. I'm like, how? How did you?
Exactly. I'm sure she saw him.
Like maybe she saw him, but the thing is like we don't see him at all. Like, I don't know, I've watched that scene multiple times. I keep squinting my eyes, keep going like, where is he? Like, I don't see him.
He's behind the curtain, like, because when she closes the laptop and turns around, then the curtain,
I figured he's behind the curtain, but like, how would she know that was exactly him? That it was exactly Brandon.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Bryce.
Of course, it's
like,
a bit of a stretch.
That could have been anybody. It was a bit of a stretch, a bit of a leap in logic.
A little bit, yeah. Maybe she just saw like shoes he had or something like that. But I see what you mean. She just assumed, like from our perspective.
Like they maybe set it up that maybe like that's a song that he's playing, and then she sees that he's listening to it or whatever, and like he likes it. Then she would know that it's him. But the thing is, like, I don't know. Unless I'm missing something, I could possibly be missing something. But I'm just kind of like, okay, wait. Obviously there was someone behind this curtain, so obviously I get that. Obviously there was somebody in there with her. But the leap in logic to immediately go, yeah, Brandon Byers or whatever his name is, he was here. And I'm like, how? How did you know? How did you know exactly it was exactly him?
No, I'm with you. That leap in logic is a bit weird. And maybe they did have a previous scene with that song playing, as you said, that would sort of link the two characters.
Or maybe it got deleted or something.
Yeah, but as it stands right now, it's a bit weird to just guess or assume it was him.
Yeah.
I don't know, especially because they sort of had a mutual sharing, like a connection in class, not a romantic one, but they smiled at each other. They were like friends or whatever.
Yeah.
So why would she just assume, oh yeah, no, he's standing in my room suddenly? That's really creepy, especially if he's your friend.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a leap in logic, and it's very weird. I don't know. I just never liked that scene because I was always just kind of going like, how do you know that it's him? Like, makes no sense. But anyway,
it really doesn't. Anyway, she develops a sort of fear of him since that night, so she really doesn't want to interact with him. She avoids him.
Yeah, they're playing that they're with the gym teacher. They're busy doing this thing where they stand in a circle, and then the kid's got to like weigh their weight like this, and they got to like push them around and make sure they don't fall. And then when he gets to her, she basically lets him fall, and then he falls to the ground, and then the teacher says like, no, you have to. Help him up, and then she says, "No, he's a pervert." And I'm like, "How do you?" Okay, and then he's like, no, otherwise your feathers fail this class. So when she takes his hand to pick him up, he crushes her hand
and breaks it hardcore.
Yeah,
I dig that scene. I'm not gonna lie, it's really that actor. I don't like him, man. I like him, but I don't like this character. He creeps me out, which is the point. I know.
Yeah, he was in Avengers Endgame.
Who?
The actor who plays the kid in this movie.
Yeah, he is. I know he is. At some point.
He was Scott Lang when he was turned into a young kid.
When he's that youngster. Yeah, by the van. I know because I was like, oh yeah, it's Brightburn. Yeah. Well, at least he had the experience, I guess, as an empowered person. So, help me along here. After that scene, what happens? It's a basically slow burn in terms of him.
The gradual slow progression. They start to see that he's starting to get a lot more aggressive, and he's starting to get a lot more aggressive with his parents. Like there's a birthday party. He's there with his parents and obviously his uncle and his aunt, and then his uncle gets him like this like BB gun or whatever, and then the dad's like, no, you can't have this BB gun, like you're too young or whatever, and then he gets like angry with his dad and says, give it to me and everything like that. And then there's the bit with the chickens where the dad's busy putting away his guns, the guns, and then he hears something, just the chickens, like going crazy. So he thinks it's the wolf, so he gets out his sniper rifle. He comes, and then he sees that Brandon's there, and he's like just staring at the chickens, and the chickens are like going crazy or whatever. And then he brings him inside, but then later when the dad comes back out, the chickens are gone. And he brings the wife out and says like, oh, look at this. It's like, oh, it was the wolf. And he's just like, wolves can't rip doors open and like go inside and do all of this. And then like she's just like, it was the wolf. And then she goes back to the bed. I'm just like, lady.
I get her logic. She's trying to be protective of the son she knew.
No, I understand. I understand what. I understand. Like, I mean, the thing is, parents do get like that because when their kid does something wrong, no matter what their kid does, the parents will always defend them because it's their kid, basically.
Of course, it's that maternal instinct.
So I mean, it is understandable. I won't give it. I mean, it doesn't bother me that much. But
No. I get what you mean. But the dad is really getting suspicious of this kid. He's like, nah, you straight up lying to us. You got these anger issues. You're coming home and there's blood everywhere. There's something up with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And he really starts to suspect this kid. So anyway, a little bit earlier in the film when they go camping. He gives him a talk.
Yeah, obviously the talk.
The talk,
the parents have to give and the dad always has to do it, and they're always like very awkward with it.
Yeah, he didn't handle it very well. He's like, so can I do it now? He's like, right now? No. I love that scene.
Like, no, not now, not right now.
Not right now.
Just like when you're in private.
Anyway, he tried to sort of get him on the right path and be a good dad and see, okay, what you're doing is not really right. They had no evidence to prove it, but they knew he was acting out, and they were like, all right, maybe we can fix this youngster.
Yeah, then basically he figures out that that he's from an alien. He landed in a ship or whatever. And obviously he's upset, and then he goes outside, and there's that really cool scene where he's like, take over the world. And like his eyes heat up with his heat vision. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's when he gradually unlocks his powers. He gained the skill point.
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes, and then his first real kill is when he kills the girl's mom, that girl that he likes, her mom.
At her
because when he crushes the hand, the mom's obviously like freaked out, and like she's saying like you should arrest this boy and everything like that. So he basically just goes and kills. The mom in the diner. That's a very, very gruesome scene.
It's hard to sit through, dude.
Especially with the glass in the eye, like
I don't mind the scene as a whole, but that. I hate things near my eyes, and then that scene, it is so prolonged, and you're just in your chair like, I hate it.
Exactly, but
that scene is well done. Of course, he starts with that logo of his, the BB thing.
Yeah, the BB thing.
That becomes a hint as to how the police eventually figure out these murders that's going on.
Yeah,
as they associate that symbol at all the crime scenes, and they're like, oh, okay. Let me go investigate. That's pretty much right at the end of the film, so it's not that important.
Yeah.
But I thought it was worth noting. So he kills the mom, and she ends up missing. Like, we never actually see her body until the very end, which is creepy, man. I forgot it was in the movie.
Yeah, I also forget about that.
Dude, I was like, oh. Anyway, where do we go? I'm trying to word it. After he kills... Or he takes that woman out at her diner. Isn't that when the dad loses it and he takes him out camping again?
No. Remember. That's a bit further on. Remember when he murders her. Then he gets blood on. I think he gets blood on his shirts or whatever.
That's from the car scene.
Oh, for the car scene, but But anyway, he's being more aggressive. He has to go see his aunt because his aunt, the mom's sister, is the school's therapist or whatever. Counselor. So he goes and talks to her, and then there's the whole bit where she says so you're feeling a bit different because you found out that you're adopted and that those aren't your they're not technically your real parents and everything. He says, no, I'm fine. I just think that I'm something different. She's like, oh, what? Oh, just something superior.
I hate the way he says it as well. I'm like, you egotistical.
Yeah. And then basically and then he the aunt mentions to him that, look, I've got to give a progress report to the sheriff tomorrow, and I've got to be honest with him. And then the kid shows up at her house late at night, and then saying yeah, you shouldn't tell him because that will not work for me.
Yeah, the way he says it as well, he words it is so it's not as bad as it sounds, but it's actually bad. So you're like, woman, don't tell nobody.
Yeah. So basically, and then the uncle comes back because he was out drinking, and then he comes back, played by Badger from Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway, then he goes. He's busy. I think he's in the bathroom, or whatever. And he goes into the closet and he sees Brandon. He takes the mask off. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? Then he wants to take him back to the house, and then he says, oh, don't tell my parents. You'll be lucky if that's the only thing I do. He's like, you shouldn't tell my parents. Yeah, and then he basically kills him, and then oof, that scene is very gruesome.
Yeah, when he claps his jaw on that steering wheel, and he gets wrecked.
But I do find that one scene a bit funny where
with the lights.
Yeah, where the uncle's driving away in the car and like he's smashing the car up, flying past and smashing it, and then the car can't stop, and then like he's trying to like get the car, then the headlights come out, and then the kid's standing there, then like and then he's just like, nope. Time to go.
I love that scene as well.
Yeah, that was very funny. That was just a little bit of comedy, because the thing about comedy in a horror movie is that it shouldn't it's not like it should be like Halloween 2018 where they're making jokes every like 5 minutes or whatever. It should be a thing where like you'll have like a scene and then like there'll be like a little bit of comedy,
a slight sprinkle, yeah,
just a slight sprinkle of comedy just to relieve the tension just a little bit, but not completely break it. So I think the comedy in that scene is actually pretty funny.
It's a great moment. Nope.
Yeah, his reaction is just very funny.
So he kills his uncle because he was actually I think he was gonna whack his aunt, but his uncle came home in time.
Yeah.
And he catches him in his closet.
And then he decides to kill the uncle instead.
Because he's driving him home. He doesn't want to get in trouble with his parents, which like at this point, what trouble are you gonna get in? Calm yourself.
Yeah, I'm just I'm kind of like at that point of the kid, I'll just be like, fine, go tell them. I don't care.
Yeah, but maybe
it's not like they could do anything to me.
Maybe it's like a moral thing. Maybe he feels he doesn't want to.
I think also he doesn't.
Bad guy.
I think also he doesn't. I think I don't think he really cares about his dad. His dad, he's just like whatever. I'll just rip him in half. But his mom, I think even his mom have that relationship, and I don't think he wants to. He doesn't want to hurt his mom. I mean, he does hurt his mom in the end, but he doesn't. But initially, he doesn't want to.
No, he holds back a lot. Yeah, that's true. So he kills his uncle, and his shirt is. I wanted to say his blood is covered in shirt. His shirt is covered in his uncle's blood. So he comes home and he makes up a lie that he was out playing soccer incredibly late, and he walked home. So his shirt is all dirty, and he hides it from his parents, but. They eventually find it, and his dad puts it together. He's like, no, he killed Noah. And, look at the chickens, look at the young girl's hand, and then her mom, and now his uncle. There's something up with this kid. And he finds the mask as well. Yeah. I think.
No, he doesn't find the mask. No,
he doesn't find the mask. Sorry.
He just finds the shirt.
The shirt, yeah, I mixed them up, sorry. And so he's like, no, he convinces the wife, let us go camping again. I don't think he tells her he's going to whack the kid.
No, he basically just tells her, like, I'll take him out camping.
Yeah, which is code for I'm going to whack this kid. So they end up in the woods again, and they're actually hunting because Brandon is like, oh, look at these, there's deer tracks here.
He's like kneeling down to look at the tracks, and then the dad shoots him in the head, and then obviously does nothing to him. And then the kid's basically just like, okay, buddy, you're dead. Basically just like, murders him, and then like pretty gruesome way as well. He like just uses his heat vision and just like blasts his eyes.
Pretty much kind of like The Boys.
Yeah.
With that CEO lady. I forget her name.
I forgot. Homelander actually does do that to her.
Homelander does it to her, yeah. Yeah. And then they accuse Butcher.
Yeah.
Anyway, and immediately after that, basically, he comes home, he flies home. And his mom also figured it out at this point.
Because the sheriff came to
investigate that symbol.
Then the mom obviously like covers for him. But then when she goes to looks through his books and everything, she sees that he clearly is the murderer. And then she phones and say, Carl, you were right. And everything is like, Dad's gone. I'm here now.
Yeah. He's so ominous on the phone.
Yeah.
And there's this bit of a prolonged sequence. The cop turns around and comes back because he gets a 911 call, or the dispatcher did, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's flying through the house, smashing it and everything. And then when she runs out, gets the sheriff, he like flies in and just
liquefies
the sheriff.
That reminds me of another scene. I think it happens in Boys. There's a lot of correlations.
Yeah, but anyway, then. He basically murders and kills the deputy, and then the mom runs out to the barn because she remembers that when he does eventually fall into the
barn thingy,
the barn thingy where the ship is, his hand scratches against the metal from the ship, and the metal does actually hurt him. So it's basically his kryptonite.
Pretty much, yeah. And so she recalls, I can use this to actually hurt him. So she plays this game with him, sort of like a hide and seek thing with the whistling.
Yeah.
Remember they used that to find each other.
But yeah, anyway, just to recap where we were, we basically were at the bit where she takes the piece of metal from his ship, and then she tries to like stab him, but obviously he like catches her, and then he flies her up into the sky, then drops her. And then basically there's an airplane coming, so then he basically crashes the airplane, sort of as like a cover story to like sort of so he can crash it over the farm so that they don't find out that actually it was him that did it. So they could explain all the gruesome deaths and everything like that. And yeah, basically the movie just ends and he's just in there eating a cookie.
Yeah, like he's the lone survivor of that crash because of his farm was below it. And it kind of has this like cool remix of Bad Guy by Billie Eilish playing while they have a montage of his later events.
Yeah, he's busy smashing up office buildings and like destroying highways and just being a bad guy basically.
People are trying to work out who he is, or what he is.
And then we cut to that one actor. I can't remember his name. The guy who plays Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I know him. I don't know his name, but I know him.
Yeah, he was. He has like this this conspiracy podcast show on YouTube, and he's talking about how he's destroying everything, and there's this like half man, half sea creature in the sea sinking boats, and there's this woman with these weird like witch ropes who are busy like strangling and murdering people. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I see what they're doing there. That's basically this universe's version of Aquaman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly. They pretty much reference them as well. But probably they'll be like evil versions.
Yeah,
basically
setting up
a sequel.
Evil Justice League. And then there's also, and funny enough, one of the superheroes that he references, if you look at one of the pictures, one of the guys is the actual dude from Super, is the character from Super, which I think is pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen Super, so I would have missed that reference. Yeah, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a superhero called the Crimson Bolt, but he's a good guy. He's not a bad guy.
Oh, they just have a cameo almost because of James Gunn.
Like a cameo reference or whatever. And basically, and it's very interesting because in the DC comic books, there's this one alternate Earth where there's this group of supervillains called the Crime Syndicate, and they're basically like an evil version of
Justice League.
Evil version of the Justice League. So this is almost like a Crime Syndicate, like an Ultraman origin story type movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then another interesting thing is that recently DC started doing these books called Tales from the Dark Multiverse. And it's basically like DC's version of What If, basically.
Okay.
And it's like these like dark stories and everything. And they do like these twisted versions of like famous stories and everything. And then in my head canon, this is basically the Tales from the Dark Multiverse of Man of Steel. Essentially,
his origin. It's essentially copy paste of the formula. They just rebranded the character.
Yeah.
Or should I say rebranded?
Rebranded.
That was the dumbass pun, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it ends. They set him up for a sequel. I hope they get a sequel. I like this movie. Okay, it's a bit shallow and wonky in some places, but it's not bad overall.
Yeah, I like it as well.
They kind of pushed the envelope to have an R-rated superhero film, aside from Deadpool.
Yeah.
Because, everyone loves Deadpool. He's that one character that gets, a get-out-of-jail-free card for any Monopoly, for any Marvel movie, so...
Not when he's under Disney.
Yeah, it's true.
When he's under Disney, they're just gonna be like, can I swear? No. Can I have gore? No. Can I have thing? No. It's like, we are Disney. We own everything.
And we're family friendly while we do it. Yeah, Disney scares me, man. Anyway, that's pretty much the film. I really enjoy this flick. I think there's good aspects that are taking the superhero genre in an interesting new direction. So the fact that it came out with The Boys, similar times.
Yeah, and finally a superhero horror movie. Because people have been wanting a superhero horror movie for a while. Then the director of Doctor Strange, Scott Derrickson, he really wanted to make the first Doctor Strange kind of like a horror movie, but then Marvel said no. And then with the second movie, he's like, okay, come on, let me do a horror movie. He's like, no.
Poor guy. Well, you get paid at least, so...
So he actually stopped directing the project, and now Sam Raimi's directing the new one, but...
The new Strange.
The new Doctor Strange, yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know, yeah. It's cool that we at least got this film, and it's a nice one.
Usually we do shots first, so is there shots that you like? Standouts?
Just a couple of shots. Even though that scene's very hard to watch, the bit with the mom where she has that thing in her eye. Then she's like in the diner, and then when she pulls it out, there's that bit where she's behind the counter of the baseball bat, but like half her eyes like just filled with blood, and the other eyes
It's
normal.
like visible.
Yeah, so and they keep cutting between these like first person shots, and I think those are pretty.
That's
cool.
a good visual style. Yes, I get what you mean. Because her vision is kind of distorted, and obviously she's hyper aware. She's very freaked out.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Good choice, actually. I didn't list them as a personal favorite shot, but I did appreciate the visual choice.
And I like the bit with Badger where the headlights keep coming on and off, and then he's like there and he keeps getting closer.
Mm-hmm.
I like that bit, and I also like that very like long shot where the mom is like inside the storage room or whatever, or the refrigerator, and then he's sort of like standing at the far end just before he flies in and kills her.
Yeah, that scene, it was epic. Oh, we didn't actually mention, before I reveal my shots, of what happened to her. Basically when...
do you really want to talk about it?
Well, I'll just explain where she ends up.
Okay.
Just for the sake of anyone. Anyway, because they keep referencing that she's missing, and when Brightburn's mom finds out or remembers that the metal can damage him, she goes to the ship compartment in the barn. And then
there's those red lights flashing, and then behind her you see the mom there.
The mom, or what's left of her, and then that's pretty much where we find out, okay, wow, she's been here like an experiment. It's kind of sus.
Yeah.
Anyway, shots I like. There's 3. Besides the thing you mentioned of the visual choice. When the ship first starts turning on, and it radiates the red.
Yeah.
There's a shot through one of their house windows that focus pulls from the rain on the window to the barn at the back.
Yeah.
That's a very cool shot. I like that. Next would be when we see his costume for the first time, when he kills the mom in that diner, like it's sort of like a medium close up.
Yeah.
Like a long close-up thing. Anyway, it's a full body shot, basically, where you see his mask and his red eyes for the first time. I don't really know how to describe it, but yeah.
Yeah.
And third would be... when... I'm not sure if it's I think it's his aunt. When she's going to bed and she sent him home already, and then the bathroom light flickers, or she turns it on, and he's outside her window, but when she turns it off again, like it's the only time you can see him.
Yeah, you see that a couple of times.
It's a few times.
There's a bit with the deputy as well, where she's going through the hallway with a shotgun, and then she sees him by the glass door, and then when she calls for backup, she looks back up and he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah, it happens quite a few times, but I like that visual choice because they used lighting to their advantage.
Yeah.
So that was my 3 highlight shots. Takeaways.
Yeah, it's just a really good movie. Just really good superhero horror movie. It kind of feels like slasher film at times, but no, it's really good.
A little bit, yeah. I think it was a nice entry into the horror superhero genre.
Yeah,
it was a nice takeaway because they pushed the R rating. They utilized it to the best they could.
Well, obviously, it's produced by James Gunn, so there's gonna be that R rating.
Yeah, that's true. Especially, I only knew him from Guardians at this point, so...
James Gunn loves to do everything R-rated, and the only reason why the Guardians of the Galaxy films aren't R-rated is because because the mouse is basically just, no!
The mouse is no, yeah, true. Don't think I have takeaways. I want to say just a shout out to that character, the actor that plays Brandon.
Yeah.
As a young actor, he kills that role so well.
He does kill it very well.
So I wanted to just shout him out specifically, but I don't think I have any takeaways other than maybe utilize R rating to the max.
What would be your rating?
7. It's janky and wonky, but it's also a lot of fun, and it's an interesting turn for the superhero genre, so it shouldn't be bashed.
Yeah, I'll go with 8.
8.
Because I just really like it. But also, I'm big into comic books and everything, so...
Does Brightburn have comics?
He
does.
Yeah.
No.
No, this is a completely original IP, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's based obviously heavily off of Superman, but it is basically an original IP.
Okay, cool. Well, I wouldn't know. Comics are expensive. Anyway, cool. I'm glad. So thank you guys. I think you 8 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, Please like, share, and subscribe. I am Kevin. This is my co-host Logan. And thanks, guys.
Thanks.